I'm Candice Davidoff, and I work on reducing building energy use and carbon emissions at the City of Seattle's Office of Sustainability and Environment. Buildings are responsible for 40% of the climate pollution in Seattle. The city is leading by example and has a plan to decarbonize or eliminate all fossil fuels from all city-owned buildings by 2042. That work includes things like insulating drafty buildings, replacing gas systems with electric ones, and much more. Today, I'm going to walk through a new tool to allow us to share our progress with the public, the Municipal Buildings Decarbonization Dashboard. This dashboard has data from over 300 city-owned buildings, like libraries, community centers, and fire stations. You'll be able to see energy use and emissions data, find out how buildings are doing toward meeting energy targets, and view progress in removing fossil fuels from buildings. The first page is energy use and emissions. It shows annual data for 4 metrics: energy use, emissions, energy use intensity, EUI, and greenhouse gas emissions intensity, GHGI. You can search for individual buildings using the property name filter, or you can search on building characteristics, things like their location or function. One thing to note on this page is the difference between a property and a building. Sometimes buildings share an energy meter, and so we can't tell usage for the individual buildings. In that case, we show data for the whole property that shares the meter. So, for example, at the Northgate campus, there's actually 2 buildings here, the community center and the library, that both share a gas meter. And so you can see we have 1 property with 2 buildings on it. Our second page covers 2 laws that govern energy efficiency and emissions for large buildings. First, Seattle's Building Emissions and Performance Standard, BEPS, which sets emission reduction targets. And second, Washington State's Clean Buildings Performance Standards, CBPS, which sets energy efficiency standards. The BEPS policy has flexible compliance pathways to accommodate buildings in many different situations. So to start, we select a compliance pathway. Since you may not know which pathway a given building is complying under, all buildings are findable under the single property pathway. If you select a building complying under a different pathway, the report will notify you. So for example, if we look at Fire Station 17 in the U District, we're told that the building is complying under the aggregate pathway, along with other buildings owned by the same department, and that department is FAS. So we click on Aggregate Portfolio, we go to FAS, and we can see Fire Station 17 as part of the whole FAS portfolio. The final page is the Decarbonization Tracker. It lets you see progress toward decarbonizing buildings that use fossil fuels. At the top, you can see how far we've come in decarbonizing all buildings and the timeline for future work. In the bottom section, each of these bar charts is a drill down into an individual building. The bars are possible uses for fossil fuels. When there's no bar, that building has never used fossil fuels for that purpose. So as an example of how to read this, at the Capitol Hill Library, it used fossil fuels for hot water and space heating, and both of those uses have been decarbonized in 2023, which makes this a fully fossil fuel-free building. That's all we have. Thank you for watching. Have fun digging in and exploring the data for yourself.